Just a show of hands, how many people actually have a Web3 wallet? 2, 3. What do you actually have inside? Nothing. Anything? What kind of digital currency do you have inside? NFTs. All right, great. So right now, my name is Joseph. I'm actually the Director of Healthcare and Web3 for Brinc. Over the next few minutes, I hope to give you an overview of what Web3 is, how it's coming to healthcare, and what do we see as some of the key driving forces. Right now, in the marketplace, let me see, what is Web3? I'm sure you've seen all the buzzwords on the line, on social media, such as metaverse, blockchain, and DAO. What does Web3 actually mean? If you look online, there's actually no clear definition of Web3. But to me, what it means is the next generation of the internet, using blockchain, decentralization, and token to actually augment this new technology. It's coming. So right now, a couple examples are, for example, Tesla, one of the famous retailers in US, they now take Bitcoin as payment. We also see Gucci in the US, they're starting to take ApeCoin as also payment. So it's coming. A lot of retailers in the US and Europe are still thinking about their Web3 strategies and how they take payment. And so health and fitness is also will be affected. And over the course of this presentation, I will share with you 2 case studies of how Web3 is coming and what is being used right now. So before we start, I just want to walk over the internet evolution, how I see it in Web 1. So for those who are as old as I am, Web 1 back in the 90s, when we had ICQ, we had Netscape with AOL, it was pretty much a read-only interface. You go in and read, and that's all you can do. Web 2, where we are now, is with Facebook, with Amazon, with Google, with Twitter, whereby you can actually go on, engage, you can create content, and stream across multiple billions of users. However, that data is actually being monetized by these large corporations. They make money off you, not you. So henceforth, why we're seeing the next evolution of Web3. Does anybody recognize any of the brands on this side? Anybody? Any of the brands that we stand up? OpenSea, Sandbox, MetaMask, StepN. These are the new companies that are utilizing blockchain tokens for their business model. So what are some of the Web3 advantages that we see? Well, first of all, data ownership. You own your own data. That's key. In the past, for Web 2, you submit your data willingly to, for example, Facebook. They monetize it. But in the Web 3 world, you actually control when and where and how you give the data out. Privacy. With the blockchain technology, you're actually able to have a decentralized identity. Nobody can actually know who you are unless you give them permission to. Security. Sorry, let me go back. With the security, with the advent of blockchain is actually very secure. You can actually, many ways that actually, if anything data gets corrupted or compromised, you will know right away. So there's an added level of security that Web3 has using blockchain. And then the last 2 are opportunity and collaboration. With technology behind Web3 is open source. So you're actually able to collaborate, work with various partners and companies to develop your platform or your company. So these are some of right now, the advantages that we see. There are probably many more that right now we're very early stages in Web3. More and more companies are using it, but the advantages will become more inherent in the future. So you asked me, right now, are there any real life cases of Web3 in health and fitness? And actually there is. I actually want to present 2 case studies. We walk through it and just give you an overview and share what they've been doing. How do I play this? With the video. With video? Here we go. Is there sound? Sound, yeah. So this is actually a video from one of the companies called STEPN. Has anybody heard of STEPN? Raise your hands, right? So they are actually a one-year-old company. They've actually pioneered the move to earn business model. So imagine, if anybody that runs, like for example, like myself, I have organized a running club. Imagine if you're actually incentivized to actually run and get paid to run and get paid to exercise. So that's actually using tokenomics, using GPS in the game, and using like how they've actually gamified this fitness. So a crossover between fitness and Web3. So right now I think I was reading an article on STEPN. They were profitable. Last quarter, they did about 122 million net profits just by having this game, just by having people run, and they're paying out tokens that can be converted into fiat digital currency by running. So right now, we're seeing 33 million active users globally each month running with STEPN. And they've actually launched an office here in Hong Kong at Cyberport. So they see a lot of opportunities here as well. So that's move to earn, exercise to earn. It's a new trend that we've seen, and so you'll see more and more of it as it becomes more mature. Well, that's move to earn. Another case study that I want to bring up is actually on data privacy. So this actually company I found online. It's called Genome.io. They are basically a data bank. You can actually give your DNA for them to sequence. They store it securely, and then they'll ask you for medical research opportunities. You can actually give your data to them on a case-by-case basis, and they will pay you. Each time they use your data, they will provide tokens to you into your digital wallet. And that's why I asked about wallets. And so here's another way that you can monetize your privacy. You actually give the companies when you want to give the data to them to use for medical research. So in the past, I know a lot of apps or companies that take your data and they sell it. Here is actually on you with your security codes, your Face ID, to grant them access to your medical research if they want to do any research on that. So we have two case studies. One is like a move to earn. One is actually like monetizing data privacy. Yet Web3 right now, as I just asked, it hasn't really been adopted yet. And there are actually a lot of friction behind that. Well, as I said, accessibility. Using crypto wallets is actually very, very challenging. The last couple of months, for me to start up a crypto wallet, a MetaMask, move funds around, is actually a lot of friction. It's very easy to actually misplace or input the wrong digit. So until that's addressed, there's a widespread, there's not a high adoption of crypto wallets. Usability, the user interface, the user experience. I bet anybody that sets up a Facebook account is very intuitive. You set up an account, you add things, it takes a couple of minutes to learn. Setting up an account on the Web3 is very difficult. Whether it be MetaMask or on the decentralized, is actually you need somebody to handhold you and walk you through it. And that's what happened to me in my experience. Interoperability. Right now, a lot of the apps or programs are on different chains or they're not compatible. So that causes more friction for users. Whether it be on Solana or Ethereum, or you hear these words on Avalanche, it's just people that are not aware. It's very, very a lot of friction that people have not able to actually address yet. Government regulations. Certain countries are very leading toward crypto regulations. Some are not. So it's still in a very new stage. And lastly, the business models are unproven. Some are not proven yet, so it's very early stages. But saying all that, I think the trend is very positive, very bullish. that Web3 technology is coming toward health and fitness in some way or form. There are a lot of exciting projects, a lot of development coming, a lot of innovation. Over the next 5 years, as soon as they address the friction points, whether it be accessibility or interoperability or usability, they will be able to adopt and gain the widespread adoption of Web3. So I think that concludes my presentation as a very high-level overview. Does anybody have any questions? I have time for Q&A. I know it's a new topic. It's a very...
All right, we are having a questions over there.
Hi, Joseph. Hi, my name is Chris. I just have a question in regards to your insights on scalability and the potential challenges that might be, especially if that is mass adopted. Because I know that scaling the technology and across, and also what you mentioned about interoperability, that is probably the two big solutions. Can you comment more on that?
Well, I think myself, I come from a product design, user experience world. And I think they actually have to, when you scale it, you have to remove that friction. For someone like to download the app and start using it, it's very lot of friction right now. So how do they actually make it easy for you to actually, just like a Facebook message account, you download it, you use it right away. So until they address that, they cannot scale the adoption of that, number one. Number two, interoperability. I think until they have apps or they ingrain the features that it becomes seamless to the user, they will not be able to actually have that. They will still have interoperability issues. So the end user has got to be seamless. The customer experience has got to be there, just like Web2 right now. When you use a Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, it's just seamless. It just works. Until they get that level, there will still be some challenges for adoption.
Any more questions for Joseph? Okay, over there.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I have a question. So, the early stages of the internet, sort of, there was the dream of a global connected world and free-for-all space where you can do anything, right? Now you see much more government control, Europe, of course, China, etc. And in the US, it's more companies holding a lot of power, right? So how do you see that for Web 3.0 and for blockchain and things like, particularly in China? Like, is that development happening in the same rate as anywhere else, or like, are there, how is that interaction with?
Well, that's a good question. I just came from China, right? I spent the last 9 years in Shanghai. So right now, blockchain, a lot of my friends that are actually in blockchain in China, they're actually working on external opportunities. In terms of exchanges, crypto in China, it's actually really regulated by the government. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. They are working on China version of the metaverse, but it's not interoperable with the rest of the whole world. So unfortunately, that's China standards right now.